Hey guys, what do I do when I have clothing? You know what I'm gonna do, guys? I'm gonna put it on.
That
You
sounds
guys
like the joke we did in the first ad read.
Yeah, this just shows you. This is why we're not comedy writers. I said put it on. It technically, if Spencer was telling me, it would be to put this on. Shout out, putthisonshop.com is a sponsor of today's episode.
That's right.
Sponsoring for quite a while, and we've been enjoying it, and hopefully you guys are too.
Yeah, and of course, you can enjoy a bunch of items on the shop right now. Something that I had my eye on
Right.
was a vintage Tigers Letterman jacket. So this
cool.
one is cool because I do like the wool Letterman jackets. The thing I usually don't like about them is the collar. I don't like the standing collar or the ribbed collar. This one just has like a regular point collar. I think it's way easier to wear that way. And it has some like genuinely like really cool chain stitched patches on it. The details like that I'm a sucker for. So you know what? Fucking love this thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff on here. You know, I'm looking. There's like a vintage. It's listed as the vintage fully openable army duffel bag. I know that duffel bags are kind of coming in. And that's really cool. There's a cravat holder, which I'm pretty sure is just a collar bar. You guys have been asking.
It's just a tie clip, but that is a really good. That's like my ideal shape for a collar bar. A lot of the modern ones are bad because they're too long or too thick.
That's why you go vintage. You know who's got them? Fucking the putthisonshop.com does. Just
the best
got
part,
you.
You can get most of these items with free shipping with offer code SADSHIP. Fuck! Not recording. Wait, I am. Never mind. I had. Okay.
This is gonna stay in there. This is gonna stay in.
I had two Audacity windows open, and one of them wasn't recording, and I thought that was the one.
Oh my god. Oh man, I'm just gonna have a field day. Well, anyway, thank you to putthisonshop.com
for the sponsorship.
Don't forget, please use
offer
code
SADSHIP for free shipping on most items.
Yeah, my god, dude. Hopefully the episode's not gonna have this kind of issues on it. I guess
we already know it doesn't.
Yeah, you'll find out, guys. MJ, let's roll it. Now, sound speeds fade in. doing the audio stuff again.
Man, it's always so funny that when you do this, it's so funny.
Yeah, I'm narrating
it's
the
definitely
things
the
that
gag
MJ
that
is
is
doing.
like worth doing every week.
Yeah, and if you guys don't like it, who cares? You can't say anything, unless
You're not on mic.
That's right. Even MJ, the man who is doing the actions that I am saying, can't be on mic. He's giving me a look right now. He's like, I wish I could be on mic, but I can't.
He has no mouth, and yet he must scream.
That's right. I must scream, my friend. That's my impression of MJ. That's what he said.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing that you're doing that because he can't get on mic. So
exactly.
That's the only way you're gonna get MJ's real voice on the podcast.
This is what my real voice sounds like.
Eric Andre coming out.
That's
I don't know, like tomorrow.
I don't know.
As of recording, at least.
I don't keep up with the press. Meet the press. Is Meet the Press like when you throw like sausages at like journalists?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what John Williams wrote a piece for, because as you guys know, he wrote a bunch of a whole like musical package.
I don't know why you started that by saying "as you know."
Yeah, well, they know now that he wrote a whole musical package for NBC. So.
NBC Universal.
That's right. It's unfortunate though that our good friend is it John Test? What's his name? John Test. Tesh. His theme is no longer associated with NBC because it ended I think 10 years ago or something like that.
That is a bummer. It's a good
Round Ball Rock.
Good song. Subject of a funny SNL sketch.
It's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good. We've been like obsessed with that for a little while, actually. I think.
Well, because it's like I found it a while back after I Think You Should Leave came out, because I was like, oh, I gotta see
you
what
gotta
other
see
stuff.
more. Yeah.
I got to see what other stuff Tim Robinson has done, and that's like maybe one of his more famous SNL sketches that he wrote and starred in. But you found it because you were interested in John Tesh.
Yeah, so I was like looking up NBC stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I could definitely listen to Round Ball Rock right now because it's really good. And then I watched his like video of like him like in concert, and we've done this on the stream. We watched it on stream live, I think like a month ago or whatever. And yeah, he's wearing a very bizarre. This is still menswear. He's wearing a very bizarre outfit where it's like
very 90s. It's like a brocade like vest.
Yep, with a
band color shirt.
Yeah, it's really weird. And yeah, he like.
But he also has like a weird choker thing, right? Or is that just part of the shirt?
I don't know. It's like a weird collar thing or some like kind of like a continental bow tie kind of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did that, and then because of the YouTube algorithm, what was related, an SNL sketch. I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of, and I can see like, wait a minute, he's in this shot. Jason Sudeikis and Tim Robinson are wearing the same outfit as the concert, and so I watched that one, and it was really good. So yeah, shout out our not upcoming, because we already planned out the rest of the content for the year. But next year we're going to be talking about composer style, not musician style, because I feel like there's already a lot of stuff about like jazz musicians and like fucking like rock stars, you know. That's why we're doing it the nerdy way. Composers, baby.
The problem is, and I think we've said this before, is most composers don't dress well. Most composers are not very...
Absolutely not.
They don't care about clothes. No. And they don't even like look cool in the way that some people who don't care about clothes look.
Yeah, it's like, you know, they are artists, but artists still look cooler than they do for some reason.
Yeah.
You know,
so get ready for that episode.
Yeah, I don't know.
Coming in a while.
January or February, who knows? But today we're going to be talking about something that I am very excited to talk about, especially because we were recording this in a week which might be the coldest week we've had in a long time.
Yeah,
it's awesome. I'm wearing a turtleneck.
I'm wearing a flannel. You know. It's a cotton flannel. It's not super heavy. But I'm wearing it nonetheless.
Nonetheless, nonplussed. I thought that was a weird word. I am
nonplussed about it.
Yeah, nonplussed.
I mean, it is kind of a weird. You don't hear it often.
Yeah, I think the only time I've ever heard it, well, not the only time. Maybe I take that back, but I think in Inspector Gadget, the movie with Matthew Broderick, Dr. Claw, just Claw, like Madonna.
Like Madonna.
Yeah, he says something like, "Oh, don't look so nonplussed." And as a kid, I'm like, "That's an interesting word," you know, like you're
use
nonplussed.
It a lot after it.
I didn't, but the word I did use a lot as a kid was drat, because I loved Captain Hook.
Okay.
Which is kind of related to Dr. Claw, kind of.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I said like, oh, drat. Like I feel like a really... I had... this is something I should have talked about on stream, because if you guys haven't watched us on twitch.tv/downdirection, I have plenty of weird, cringy like stories about myself. And here's a free one for you guys.
You don't have to pay for the Twitch, by the way, so all of these stories are free.
These stories are free. But I did have a book called How to Be a Villain as a kid, and I was like, this is like the coolest book ever. Cause like
it's like the E How thing, How to Be the Joker, where it's like have a wicked sense of humor.
Yeah, but this was like cuter. It was like, oh, make sure that your villain background is cool. Like, make sure that you come out of a volcano. It's really nice. But I love that book. Like, people were like, I brought it with me everywhere. Like, it was like I can't wait to get all these people back. Not in a school shooter way, but like in a very like Dr. Doofenshmirtz like tri-state area kind of thing.
Okay.
But anyway, so because it's been cold, we've been requested to do an episode on this for a little while, but it's about headwear.
That's right. And not just any headwear.
Bee headwear.
It's headwear that starts with a B.
Yeah, that's right. There's a bee?
There's a bee? Bees? How many other bee things can we do?
They don't let you have bees in here.
That's from Arrested Development as well. But anyway, so the bee headwear, while we were planning episodes, we were like, oh, we could do an episode about like berets and like bucket hats, and then I was like, and beanies, and then it's bee headwear.
Yeah,
and it's like, whoa! So there you go. That's the story of how we came up with that.
Even though there might not be everything in here might not start with a B.
Yeah, I mean, there's like absolutely not. We're also talking about baseball hats, ball caps today,
and a little bit about fedoras. I know
which you could just say maybe. How about we just say brimmed hats?
Yeah, there we go. We fixed it. It's headwear, brimmed headwear.
But brimmed headwear is just still too broad. It's still too broad because we're not talking about.
Yeah, but we're also beanies don't have a brim. We didn't fix it.
We fucked it up more.
Oh my god, this is the best episode, man. Hey guys,
this is gonna win the Webby.
Yeah, are we gonna have like a comedy bang bang style like top 10 like episodes, even though we have like 2 episodes a month?
Someone else is gonna we're gonna have like listeners submit their favorite moments because I don't remember anything we ever do on the podcast.
Yeah, I know. We've had people like a few days later tell us a joke that we did on the podcast, and me and Spencer are like, what? Like,
I mean, to be fair, it's like we record these things like a little bit in advance, but it's like. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's just when you have the podcaster gene, you just turn something on and kind of go into a fugue state for an hour and a half.
I tell you, fugue.
Yeah.
We go into made to measure cotton suits.
There you go.
But yeah, so obviously, we talked about versatility a couple of weeks ago in press time. Like last week for us in the past.
A couple of weeks ago for you.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about versatility, and we talked about Spencer, MJ, don't get on mic, and I live in a place where headwear is definitely aesthetics. Like it doesn't have anything.
I mean, again, not for me because I'm the
That's
bald
true.
guy of the group.
Yeah.
So just to get this out of the way, I wear hats a lot because if I'm going to be outside for any amount of time, my options are either put sunscreen on my head or wear a hat. So
right. Yeah. I don't have that issue. So
you don't.
I've got a lot of hair, and based on my grandpa on both sides, still gonna keep it. Hopefully.
Fuck off.
Knock on wood. But no, I think that's kind of important because at its core, headwear of all kinds, again, whether it is a beanie or a fedora, whatever it is, it's going to be practical for you at a certain point. These things are designed to be utilitarian. It just so happens that we may not need the utility that it's used for. I think we had an episode last year about like rainy day attire, and it's like all of those things were like very specialized. And in fact, like we didn't even have to own those things. Like we chose to have a trench coat because hey, it's cool. But honestly, we could just wear a fucking t-shirt in the rain. It doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah, we could get away with like a heavy, I could get away with like a heavy jacket and then like a fully brimmed hat and like mostly be fine in the rain. But I choose to have like 3 rain jackets, umbrellas, shit like that.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing. I don't have anything on umbrellas because
my umbrella is like $10 from Goodwill. So.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no, that these things are practical. If for listeners out there who need a a practical basis for your clothing choices, all of these things they'll serve you well, and they all have a little bit of an aesthetic kind of edge to them, so that you can play with the style. And for me personally, as a guy,
these are all more like dress down hats. We are gonna obviously, I mean, as we previewed, we're gonna be talking a little bit about fedoras. But the main topic today is the kind of like more casual hat.
Yeah, and if you guys want a full fedora one, there is a full episode on that. You can find it. You can find the full essay on the blog on the subject of fedoras, and I think the podcast is also called on the subject of fedoras as well. But yeah, so a lot of these, as a general term, a lot of these are something that I've kind of gotten into, not just because Spencer needed it, and so like, okay, I can see how it works with tailoring or with Rugged Ivy, but for me it's always been a way to kind of dress down my outfit. All of these things again add an edge to what you're wearing and make it more interesting. I will say as a caveat to that, I have been wearing headwear less as I have I've grown into like my hairstyle, and because a lot of these things again will subvert the vibes of an outfit.
I mean, also you're not really like you're not really like going out as much, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like I wore a lot more hats before we were locked inside for 6-7 months. Because even though I do wear them for style, for the most part, I'm not gonna like grab a hat if I'm just like walking, to the pharmacy or whatever.
I go back and forth. Sometimes it depends like how my hair looks like that day. Again, you guys know I love like my messy hair and the beard that automatically kind of dress down outfits. But say I'm like gonna go to don't know about the pharmacy, but going to Target or something, or picking up some food, I'll wear a ball cap just like if my hair is a little bit too messy, or maybe if I didn't like shower at that time of the day yet, maybe I had a late start and I'm I gotta pick up something right before lunch. I'll wear a cap just to kind of calm things down. But yeah, so they're practical, they're stylish. Hopefully you guys are into them, because and one reason why we're talking about them is because most of menswear doesn't really like hats. I think on a bigger scale, maybe not industry wide, but when you go to like real men, real style groups, or kind of more.
Okay, so you're not talking about like classic menswear. You're just talking about the. I mean, I guess, yeah.
Like I would say the uninitiated,
the more mainstream,
yeah,
more mainstream,
and I
like,
think a lot of people,
world.
yeah, and those people kind of sometimes live in a fantasy where like, oh, you have to have like, it's also like you have to have nice hair, so wearing a hat goes against that. But then when you're initiated like the rest, when you are initiated like the rest of us, does
Bane ever say that?
Well, he does say the uninitiated. You remember that, right?
Sure, yeah.
No, he goes like, theatricality and deception, powerful agents to the uninitiated, but we are initiated, aren't we, Bruce? I had to do the whole thing.
Yeah, I had to do the whole thing.
That's a clip. MJ, clip that. Don't get on mic. What was I saying? Oh yeah, once you're kind of into it, you kind of realize that you can wear whatever the fuck you want. With and I do these. Spencer might be a little bit different, but I wear all of these with tailoring and with regular outfits, like all of these. So just a preference.
I mean, I would too.
I'm just saying, but you don't wear tailoring as much. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't wear tailoring as much, but I would. I don't. As we said, like as I said, it's like I think of a hat as a practical thing.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just something I like put on. I would put on with whatever to keep my scalp from getting ruby red.
That's right. Did I tell you one time one of my friends, the one white friend I had back in high school, we went to the beach, and he's one of those guys who wore. I don't know if he listens to the podcast. It'd be hilarious. But he always wore like a DC, like a hoodie, like a DC hoodie.
Okay.
And then like kind of like really wide like baggy jeans and like DC shoes, and he wore that to the beach. I think, maybe I'm wrong, but his feet were so burned.
Oh god!
So imagine Spencer's like a fear for his head, like this guy's feet were like fucking like gone, dude.
I don't think I've ever gotten a top of foot sunburn before.
Me neither. Although I did wear shell cordovan once, when we had like the heat wave, because I wanted to wear my new black ones, and I wore them sockless. They didn't get burned, but they were dying. And like when it's like hot and dry, like even the sweat, like the friction of my skin against it was.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
because it gets kind of sticky, right? Anyway, back to hats here. So let's start off with the beanie. You can call it knit cap, skull cap. The two.
We said beanie because that starts with a B.
Yeah,
but the style that we typically wear is like a closer to a watch cap.
Yeah, watch cap. That's right. But we're not talking about W headwear, because I don't think that there's very much options for W headwear. Oh, Fedora. Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
And so I think the difference is like I think a beanie technically has like the extended top where it kind of comes off the top of your head. Again, I don't. Who fucking cares, man?
Yeah. We both have the same style. We both have the Knickerbocker.
100% cotton. Yeah.
100% cotton, which is that I like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
I might good. Like it's better for our climate, and also it doesn't get like scratchy.
Right.
Which is nice.
Itchy and scratchy.
Itchy and scratchy. We parked in the itchy lot. Don't forget. But yeah, no, it's like it's the watch caps specifically. For those of you who don't know, are just like beanies that fit very close to the skull. So like a skull cap.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of memes about it, like the whole like everyone's wearing like tiny beanies now, the fisherman's beanie, skaters and stuff like that kind of fit over your ear. We don't like the small ones. We like the traditional ones.
Because the ones we have, they're like also like based on like World War II naval. Hats. Yeah. And
those are the ones we have. A lot of our friends have them. Cody Wellama stocked them like a couple of years ago. That's actually so the structure of this is kind of following what I was into. Like the beanie was like my first real like piece of headwear. Of course I wore fedoras back then, but like in terms of a grander sense of my personal style, the beanie is what kind of unlocked that for me of like wearing it, wearing a hat with classic menswear and variations thereof. Again, like I said, it's kind of got like a kind of a skater vibe, kind of a workwear vibe, kind of a military vibe. It makes an outfit very casual. It's very practical. It's like, every time I think of like New York, I think of the beanie and the dad cap when people just wear that literally with everything because it gets cold, and especially when you're moving in and out, you're walking around.
So if it's just cold and it's not raining, this is like such an easy hat to like just throw on, and then because then you could like fucking like take it off and put it in your pocket, which you can't do with most other hats that have like more structure to them.
Exactly. And I definitely like the Knickerbocker one because they are cotton, so you can technically wash them more easily. I think it breathes better, especially again we're in LA. Obviously, like we could probably wear ours into spring if we wanted to, and we have. But like I'm not really big kind of like acrylic ones. I don't really see a need for wool ones unless again you live in a place that needs it. Like I can't imagine wearing the shaggy dog one. Like that seems like it'll itch my head, dude. That seems.
Because I was.
No offense to J Press and everything. Like I know they're great. And hey, how come Spencer and I never got some? Come on.
Hey, excuse me. Send us free stuff, please, Mr.
Paul?
Press.
Yeah. I think it's managed by Continuous Lean. I think still.
Oh, is it?
I don't know if that's an insider thing. Because he did have an agency. So
that's right.
Yeah. But I know the J Muser guys got some, and I know Benton got some. So and they probably need it more than we do. I mean, again, I would probably itch my fucking head if I had those ones.
If I was gonna say if I did live in a colder place, I would because I've looked at like a couple reproduction wool ones.
Yeah.
I'm going on a trip later this year where it's gonna be cold, and I've considered getting it.
You've been like building this trip up every episode, man. You're gonna have to,
Well, it's like I don't know. It's like the fucking like one thing that I have to look forward to right now, and also it's it's an excuse for me to buy new clothes.
Yeah.
But I am probably gonna get just the navy cotton one for this trip.
Yeah, that's right. Because you don't have one. Yeah, you don't have.
I have the green one, which I really like. I like the green one, but the issue is that like most of my outerwear is green. And
you don't want to look like you're on leave or whatever.
It's nice to have the contrast, like everything I own is fucking blue or green, so I need to have both so I can alternate.
Yeah, because I have the navy one, and then I got the red one, which I really like. I think the red one looks so good with tailoring, despite the very Wes Anderson vibes you get. Also, despite the very Fred Castleberry vibes I might get as well. But I think, hey, speaking of inspiration, I think Fred Castleberry has some great images of him and his crew wearing it. I think
he doesn't. They don't do the watch cap, right?
No, it's like a regular bean. It's like a burglar. I don't know. He calls it the burglar cap. It kind of extends off the head. Super great. I mean, and you'll see all these images in the show notes. This is the first, actually, must be the first episode with like regular show notes because everything else has stemmed from like a fucking long essay. Yeah. Hey, they're called essays. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they work with everything. Again, this is like my first entry. I wore it with tailoring. I wore it with like jeans. It just adds something a little bit extra, especially back then at the, 2 years ago or so when I first started wearing them. I had the undercut haircuts. So everything looked a little too clean when I was wearing like a tailoring, or even something casual. It just looked like it was missing something. So wearing this kind of helps. Yeah, I think also Donegal is kind of a fun, like even if it's a Donegal cotton, it's kind of a fun choice. If you're interested in kind of breaking it up, like, like brown with blue flecks, blue with like brown or yellow flecks in it. That's kind of fun.
This isn't really a beanie, but what do you think about like the kind of like cotton, like skull caps or watch caps or whatever? Because I've seen, I don't remember what Instagram is posting these, but
what
I've seen like white ones, and those I kind of want as like a summer hat.
But the issue is like the like their twill.
Yeah.
Okay,
like cotton twill.
Yeah, not cotton rib that we have. Got it. Okay.
But the issue is most of the ones I've seen are like adjustable in the back, and I want a fitted one.
Yeah, I don't know. Those kind of give me like yarmulke vibes.
I could see that, but they're also a lot bigger.
I know.
I
don't know, like to me it kind of goes to that trend of what do you call it, like where you cut the brim off of your baseball cap kind of thing. I saw that was a big thing on like Twitter and on TikTok, because we're so tapped into that. This is why you guys come to us. Can you imagine Central Division with a continuously on David Poggins? I'm canonizing David Poggins, by the way.
They don't even know what TikTok is.
Yeah, who knows? Hey now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not super into that. I mean, I don't think it works with my style personally. I think it works with yours. I mean, you got the. We'll get into caps later on because I know you got the marine. With the was it the fucking.
Quaker Marine?
Quaker Marine ones. Yeah, we'll get into that later on. But I think if you like wearing that kind of stuff, the cotton twill watch cap, I think fits in close to there. But let's move on now to the beret.
Is this the most, I don't know, like challenging hat to get into because it's like such a?
I think so. I mean, again, like
distinct look.
We have a good stream, I think, on this because and obviously some of our best discussions on the stream is when All just comes in because All just has, he's very cognizant of the context of certain items, and so it's fun to see him kind of bring an idea to us, and then we say, yes, you can wear it, But yeah, the beret is one that that I think a lot of our friends are still kind of hesitant on. I think I'm not hesitant. I want one, but I can't find one. That's also one part of it too, But yeah, I think only me and our friend Andy wears the beret. And so yeah, so again, the beret is very similar to a beanie. It's more just about like. I guess the big difference is that it's usually made of wool. You can find cotton ones. You can find military ones that have like a leather lining on the inside that are sized like a hat. The ones I have mainly seen are kind of one size fits all. They're just kind of adjustable. There's more slack to a beanie. Think of it as kind of like a
beret. You mean?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. There's more slack to a beret, making it more like a flat cap, an 8-panel flat cap, like a vintage one, except without the brim, so brimmed headwear, not this one. And then this one usually has a stem on the top of it, not always, but yeah. And in terms of looks, it's different than a beanie, because the beret has more intellectual vibes.
It's much more like intentional too, like the beanie or whatever. That's just something that you can like throw on. But if you're wearing a beret, it's like, okay, you definitely chose to wear this beret.
Yeah. And so like when we were talking with all this on the stream, again, we can probably link this in the show notes. But we did say it's very European, and guys wore the beret with everything though. I mean, again, they didn't have like field jackets back then and like t-shirts. I mean, other than like mimes. But like you think of it like tweed suits.
Mimes are really the pioneers of menswear, and they do not get enough credit.
Yeah, Brett and striped tees. Come on now.
Mimes were the first people to wear a denim jacket under a blazer. They invented.
They were that guy. They were the first guy to wear tan shoes with a blue suit. So
everything bad in menswear, mimes started, and I'm going back to we should not appreciate them. We should outlaw them.
There we go. That's right. But yeah, so berets, back in like, you look at like 1920s, like 1940s, like European style, like everyday style, people wore them. Illustrations, you saw them. Like you wore them with like...
I mean, it's like, you see it like cycling wear and
I was about to say,
that.
So with like short jackets, you'd probably call, maybe nowadays bomber jackets or Harringtons might be a little bit harder to wear with them, but like, the point collar jackets that I like from like,
I think the beret does like look better, not maybe better, but it does work very well with the vintage look because it's like kind of a more old school hat.
Yeah,
not necessarily a vintage look, but at least kind of like
nodding. Like,
like short jackets, like
short jackets,
long point collars.
Like kind of wider leg pants. Like I'll include the pictures, but people did wear these with a lot of like casual items. And then, of course, you saw them with like tweed jackets, overcoats, stuff like that. Because, back then, mainly because maybe the beanie wasn't as popular, especially in Europe, right? You don't really have that kind of milsurp feel in Europe. People wore berets, and I like them.
It's funny. It's like funny that it's like it is definitely more intentional choice and much more. It's like but at the same time, it's really not any more difficult to throw on than the knit cap or anything like that.
I'd even say that if your style leans more tailored, this is probably a better or if not easier choice than a beanie. Because, excuse me, take a shot, my fucking boys, dude. I had lunch right before this. I know a lot of people are hesitant about the beanie because they don't like the kind of dissonance you get from wearing it.
They're like, oh, that's so childish. I may be creating a straw man, but we do hear a lot of people be, it's like, oh, that's, like I need a more grown up hat.
Yeah, and a beret kind of works for that. Of course, obviously, it's an intentional choice. You'll still get with all these, you might get looks, from people. But yeah, I like it. Berets don't always have to be black, although it probably is the easier choice. Like a red beret is kind of weird. Like, don't wear a green beret. But yeah, red beret is very Rushmore. I have mine. I wish I found one like online last year that was a more faded red, and I wish I got that one. It wouldn't have come in time for the Halloween party we went to, because the one I did get is still very.
It's bright red. Well, now you could do a topical like Emily in Paris Halloween costume.
There we go. Yeah, haven't watched it. Heard it's bad. But
by the time this episode comes out, everyone's gonna have forgotten about that show.
Yep, that's how it works now. But yeah, it's also kind of like a punk vibe to it, because you have a little bit of like the not saying that the Black Panthers aren't punk, but like very, it has that kind of revolutionary kind of look to it. Obviously, Che Guevara and everything like that. I've seen it worn with like trucker jackets and like black skinny jeans on some like kind of indie people. Again, if a lot of this, the blog and the podcast is about like exuding those vibes. So when I wear it, I am referencing those things in my attire. I like wearing my beret with like a brown suit, because black and brown kind of 70s, but then you're adding in like the kind of cultural kind of thing to it, wearing it with a tweed jacket, wearing it with like, field jacket, stuff like that. I love it a lot. I prefer it with tailoring because it gives an edge to tailoring that is still kind of not formal, but like like it's elevated as compared to like the beanie.
The Brycelands guys do it very well. They wear berets a lot.
Yeah, check that out. Okay, yeah, both leather jackets, tailoring, you can name it. Yeah, and again, it has a very cool rakish vibe that I at a certain point, you need to, or you want to kind of edge yourself, or like
that's exactly what you want to do. You want to edge yourself, man.
Yeah, you don't want to come just yet. You just want to get right to the edge there. But it's about like again, like I feel like I have decided on the cut of suit I like. It's wide legged. I've been wearing spear points forever. What can I change? Well, berets are pretty easy, and then the more headwear you have. We're not trying to say that you should buy everything just because we say it, but like with all of these, wearing a piece of headwear, whether it's a beret, beanie, whatever, it's a good way to add extra element to your outfit that makes it different, compared to if you didn't wear it or not. So yeah, there's also, by the way, before we move on, there's also summer berets. I have seen that. I have some.
Yeah. And I want that's the one I want, but those are still sold out.
HW Dog and Co. That's
which
right,
is where you
Japan.
got yours.
Yes,
the first beret that you got was just.
It's my mom's. My mom's
your
college.
Like mom's old beret. Yeah.
Yeah, I wore that really great. I love the fit on it. Obviously, it is like wool, probably acrylic blend, so I don't get to wear it like year round. And then I was turned on to HW Dog and Co. from our Sadcast fanatic Audrey, who works at Burlington and Co. in Indonesia, and she frequently goes to Japan. Super lucky. I was able to hang out with her, and I think I made a comment saying like, "Oh, it's summer. I got to put away my beret." She goes, "No, just go to HW Dog and Co. and get their summer ones." I'm like, "Oh shit!" So they have cotton ones. Then they have like a paper one. I'm not sure if it means literally paper, but it's like a very open weave, very slouchy beret. But yeah, I have that one and a tan cotton one. They're great. Tan I bought because I thought I'd wear it more. I don't really. It's been pretty tough, but I think it's because I wore it with like white suits. And I feel like it's a little too tonal, but I think if I wore it with like a dark suit, I think it'd be better. But of course, in summer, you don't really wear dark suits. So maybe I think.
Are you gonna wear it out of season in the fall?
I mean, hey, it's LA. We can wear whatever we want, dude. Yeah. So yeah, but that's the beret. Again, try it out. What's my personal favorite one? I actually, after I started wearing berets, don't really wear beanies as much. Just kind of moved in that direction. But who knows? Everything goes in circles.
Yeah, Yeah, because I mean, I feel like you'd get, the difference I see between the beret and the beanie would just be like the colors,
Oh yeah, no,
you're probably not going to get like a green or a blue beanie or beret, sorry, but those colors look really good on like a watch cap.
Yeah, and again, like at a certain point, you also want to change it up, right? Like, oh, you want to exude workwear vibes, you wear this. You want to do intellectual, you wear the beret. But now let's move on. Do you want to keep going with B, or do you want to go with? Let's keep going with the B.
Let's just be ball cap. That's what you could call it.
That's right. I was like, how do we say dad cap? It's ball cap. There we go. So let's get brimmed. Let's go to the brimmed headwear part of this.
So this is like, I don't know, definitely the easiest one to get into, just because like fucking like everyone wears these. They are like definitely very like practical. Not as much as like maybe a fully brimmed hat, but it's like I wear these probably most often because
and for the purposes of like the uninitiated, I'm gonna keep saying that, but like this, like the front brim is probably enough that you need. You don't always need a full brim.
Yeah, exactly. The kind that I like, and maybe the thing that kind of makes them quote unquote like dad hats versus just regular ball caps are the ones that have the kind of like lower profile, like the less structured ones that again fit more like skull caps, rather than some of the like new era or whatever ones that you would get like today. That have the like very stiff like front tall brim. Crown whatever.
Not a fan.
Is it a crown on a ball cap?
I don't know. You gotta ask Joelma. I'm also not a big fan of trucker hats.
Yeah, that's too early 2000s for me. Like I know it's like 70s, but it's like I associate it more with like Ashton Kutcher and shit like that.
Yeah, who wants to be that guy?
Yeah,
other than Mila Kunis, you know what I'm saying?
She wants to be your husband?
That's right. That's what I was replying.
Oh man.
But yeah, so like this is probably on the flip side. So like say that you are a regular guy who wants to kind of add an edge as you dress up, you wear a dad cap. I think that in terms of like the menswear market, dad caps are still kind of hard to get into. Because also like it's really hard to see in terms of inspiration. A lot of our inspiration are like regular guys, more Ivy stuff. But when you're looking on the tailoring side of it, more guys tend to wear the beanie and the beret or even fedora or even bucket hat over the dad cap, because even like Drake's kind of started coming out with theirs more recently, but Drake's has been known to wear beanies more often, even like the guys in the armory and everything. But yeah, so I think this has a very like normcore kind of vibe to your outfits. We did go through that phase of normcore in like the early 2010s or whatever. It's practical, it's sporty. Got that Americana vibe again. Ball caps. While you're watching the game.
What's more American than baseball? Right. And so it's like it depends. So and there's
popcorn at a ball game.
Toot.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing an Interstellar thing.
Oh, okay. What else do they say in that movie? He's the Yankees or something like that.
No, he goes it's like popcorn at a ball game feels natural. I want a hot dog.
Okay.
John Lithgow.
So the different vibes you can get with ball caps. You can go for like the more sporty look, the more like athletic look with like Ebbets Field or Ideal Capco. I have hats from both. I like them a lot. Of course, you can also get something from like a local team you like, which is as we're gonna get into, probably the cooler move. Because now when I buy hats, I'm not just going on Ebbets Field and being like, oh, what designs are cool? Like, I don't know. I try to find something that I don't like being asked. It's like if I'm wearing a hat from Ideal Capco, it's like, oh, are you a Phillies fan? And then I'm like, nah, it's just a hat that I thought was cool.
Yeah.
So the move is get some.
We're not sport heads.
Of course, if you don't really care about that, then by all means, buy Ebbets Field hats. I still recommend them. Like I said, I still have them and I still wear them despite that.
Right.
But then you can also as with all of these, there's like workwear, military surplus vibes too. I have a couple of just like plain cotton or like denim hats. We both have the flyer cap or whatever, the put this on flyer cap, which is like
HBT.
green, HBT. So this is another thing where it's like, depending on the hat you get, different vibes, believe it or not.
DVs.
Yeah.
That should be called. That should be the episode title.
Different vibes for different
take a shot.
vibes.
Yeah. I like wearing caps. I don't wear them often. I wear them whenever I do like I've been kind of leaning into this like kind of athletic-y, kind of casual Ivy collegiate whatever you want to call it. Like when over Labor Day, Spencer and I we hung out in like the pool, and I wore my I guess nylon swimming trunks or whatever. Wore those with like White Sox, Converse, and an old 80s like an 80s like graphic tee or birch tee or whatever from like a 1984 like a run or something. And like wearing a cap with that kind of finished it off to me in my head. Just kind of looked appropriate. A lot of the stuff is about like kind of finishing off, putting like the last touch to make an outfit.
Yeah, and
more
it's like,
interesting.
I'll try on I'll put on an outfit and then I'll try on a couple, like one or two of these types of hats, and then I'll figure out what I want. Just like you just know it when you see it. It's like porn.
Yeah, lots of things are like porn on this, and it's one of those things where like it helps if you have a lot. Again, we're not saying you have to buy a lot, but if you're thrifting it or something, again, Ebbetsfield has a bunch of them. Buy like one or two, that way you can have some options. Because I think with all of these, and we're not going to agree that you should have like one, because one's not going to work with everything. And I think having the option there, whether or not it could be have a dad cap and give a beanie, but having the option there will make your options much more palatable and much more interesting. And so on the subject of getting something, getting a logo or whatever, I obviously think getting a logo that's personal to you. I think even beyond sports team, not to be like, because I don't watch sports. I have no loyalty to anything that's makes me feel special.
Yeah, Ethan has no loyalty to anything.
That's right. I'm a fucking Hessian mercenary, dude. Like whoever's gonna pay for me to do it, I'll do it.
Parody.
Yeah. But no, I think that's why I like Spencer's CSUF hat. I think that's kind of fun because that's his alma
so
mater.
Ebbetsfield has a like collegiate section, and they sold a hat of the school that I went to from like the 1965 team, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and so I have that. I will say one more thing about the Ebbetsfield and like Ideal Capco. A lot of these vintage like sports reproduction hats are going to be wool. Once again, if you live in an area with a colder climate, that's not an issue. They do get a little bit hot in the summer. However, my most worn ball cap, which is my 1935 Brooklyn Eagles hat from Ebbetsfield, which is just like the Yankees logo, but in a sans serif font, like a block font.
We love that.
I wear that. I've worn that thing all the time. Like right when I got it, I wore it on like a trip to Lake Shasta, and like I went in the lake with it. Not on purpose at first, but that, and then like it being like constant wear for it being my only ball cap for a while. That thing is broken and so nice. And I really wish all my other wool ball caps felt like that, because I could wear that thing like all the time.
Right.
But now most of the hats I buy are cotton. Most of the ball caps I'm buying are cotton.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like, whenever they are personal. I know that Permanent Style has like a Berkeley cap, even though he didn't go there. It's like a friend of his that went there, like bought him like on a trip or something. I think that's fun. I don't think that they inherently have to be like you belong there or whatever. But if you have like some sort of tangential relationship to it, I think it's great.
Yeah.
I used to wear like an NYC cap that I bought like one of my trips there. One of those like touristy, off the side, which is fun. But I never really wore it. I never really wore or got into caps until kind of recently, when I got good ones. And as I said in the Rainy Day article, one of my favorite ones to wear is the Fugitive Cap, which is black with red font on it. No idea if it's
pretty cool.
It's cool. No idea if it's merch or production merch or whatever, but it's still very fun. I wore that for a while. I also had a flannel like 50s cap with like an F on it, which I think is hilarious. Didn't wear it because it's wool, so not many opportunities for it. But the one I got is something that MJ and Spencer, both of you guys got for me, right? You guys got me the What's Funny, or was it just you?
No, that was just me.
Awesome.
Not to throw MJ under the bus, but
yeah, he can't get on mic. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably I wore that, like I wear that all the time. Again, great profile. It's cotton twill. It got What's Funny which if you listen to the podcast, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just right on there. Really love that thing. And then I would alternate that cap with my Van Jack. From
that one's
Japan.
a good one. And as I've said before, you offered to pick me up one when you were in Japan. But they're expensive. Like how much?
Yeah, they're like $50 or $60. They're pretty.
And so at the time, I was like, I don't think I want it. But
when are you gonna go to Japan?
Yeah, when am I gonna go to Japan? And also, they don't sell the one that he got online, and I don't like the one that they do sell online.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I got it. It has kind of like it's newer, so like the front of it is still a little bit higher than or more structured than I'd like, and I haven't worn it a lot because of that. It is nicer quality though. Hopefully for the $50 I spent on it. It has like a leather back instead of like a pole, which is cool. Really nice. Again, that one's really rare because not many people have that one. But lately, this is not sponsored, but my current favorite cap is from Novel Mart, I think.
That's right. And you just got that, right?
Got it. Yeah, got it like 2 weeks ago. I talked about it on the stream very briefly. I've always wanted a white cap. And so I got it in white twill and with green embroidery. It says Novel Bowling Club, and it has like a figure bowling, which is fun. And so yeah, it's been really great. I think I actually really like white or cream colored caps. And I think not to tease everyone too much, but I think we're currently looking into getting some needle cord caps to make.
Yeah,
for
we
merch.
don't. I mean, again,
no promises. I mean,
no promises.
Much,
we don't know
much
when
more
this would
expensive.
be,
yeah, than like
but,
a regular cotton cap.
I have a couple. So as I said, I've been buying a lot more cotton caps recently. I have one in particular that I've wanted to get for like a year.
Yeah.
And I think on stream I just fuck it. It's
like, yeah, you did.
So I got it's a yellow Victorville Film Archive hat. For those of you who don't know, the Victorville Film Archive is I guess you could say it's a setting in the On Cinema universe. On Cinema is like a thing that Tim Heidecker does with comedian Greg Turkington. I think it's one of the funniest things, period. I love it. And this one's cool because it is bright yellow.
Yeah, love that one.
And it's like I've wanted yellow cap for a while. Shout out to another menswear podcaster. But Jeremy Kirkland of Blammo has a yellow dad cap that he wears all the time.
The frozen treats, whatever.
And that's another thing that like for him is like a very local place, which again, that's cool.
I wish we talk about living in LA. I mean, there are definitely places that you could get this, but like because Spencer and I both live in like the suburbs, we don't really have cool places. Like what we have like a fucking islands cap,
Like my local bar is not like a place that has enough history or like like enough demand for merch. So we see people, it's like, oh yeah, and I've recommended this to people. It's like if a local diner or bar or something that you go to sells hats, pick up one of those. And that's cool.
Definitely.
And I wish I could fucking follow my own advice, but none of the bars or diners I go to sell merch.
And personally I think that I love boba, you guys know that, but there's just something about wearing a boba cap that I just don't like. I think it's because I don't want to be a fucking regular ABB, typical Asian guy wearing one with his shearling cap or shearling fucking denim jacket.
Yeah.
But we gotta move on.
Well, really quick, I want to say there is. I said I was swearing off wool hats, but there is one thing that I want to do. And I am looking into getting one of my grandpa's ball caps reproduced. So I have this ball cap from the 60s that is green wool. It says Attack Squadron 25 Pinky, which was my grandpa's nickname. And unfortunately this thing is like the leather sweatband is like destroyed. Yeah. And it is really small. It's like way too small for me. So I've been like, I'm looking into getting this thing reproduced, but it's really cool. It's like bright green, yellow stitching, completely soft brim, which I like too. That's another like very old school detail that I like. Right. And so I don't know when I'm going to do this, but you'll hopefully see me in this sometime soon.
Yeah. So yeah, for styling things, I think obviously it works well with milsurp, works well with casual stuff, but
I mean, as we said, like just Americana looks in general. Like the ball cap is like an easy go-to.
And it's also a very Ivy thing. Lots of guys, wear it with like a blazer, chinos, sometimes gray flannels. You see that a lot. I think that classic menswear is starting to come around to it. It's still very minimal. Like I think Bergenberg has like a wave, like kind of like an abstract like squiggly line embroidered on it. I know that Rubato has just like an R on it.
I like the rowing blazers one.
Rowing blazers, like that's kind of like on the opposite end where you get more of like the kind of bold stuff again.
Yeah.
Bold color, wide wheel cord, washed denim, fun crests, and and stuff like that. So there's a lot of ways you could to wear it. Again, to me, like a beanie, wearing it with like an overcoat, wearing it with a suit is very New York to me because you just throw it on when you need it, right?
Exactly.
And stuff it in your tote bag or whatever later on. But yeah, cool. So now we move on to the bucket hat, which I think is my favorite. One of my, I think out of all of these, the past year and a half, I mainly, if I'm wearing a hat, it's either a beret or a bucket hat.
Yeah, I just said it's like, like the dad cap is probably easiest to get into, but for me personally, the bucket hat is the easiest to wear.
There's a lot of things there's a lot of weird things with all this whole thing where it's like getting into is different than like wearing it.
Yeah, it's like my most grabbed hats are either like a ball cap or bucket hat, because those again much better. Bucket hat's much better for summer. Because they're not wool, and they do maybe not like doesn't offer like a whole lot of sun protection, but it does offer you 360 degrees of sun protection.
I will say sometimes it's harder because unlike the other ones, you have to get like the right size.
That's the other issue is I'm like really picky when it comes to bucket hats. Like a lot of bucket hats just look bad. So you have to and
if you're like us, you want like a vintage one with character or whatever on it, you're gonna have to take a chance on it. And also like even when I thrift, I don't see a lot of bucket hats. I see much more dad caps, obviously, because people wore those more. But yeah, bucket hats, you got like the kind of grandpa vibe, you got kind of gorpcore hiking vibe, depending on which one you go with. Milsurp as well, with HBT ones or
because all mine are like vintage, are either like just vintage military or like I guess in one case like reproduction, because I have the denim Daisy May. And then I have two vintage military ones, one just in like just olive and then one in camo. And so the bucket hat, it's like it works really well for like the normcore dad, like grandpa vibes. Also works very well with like military surplus, like more rugged looks. Let's also not forget it's also Ivy. I mean, 60s is when like you saw a lot of that kind of stuff. There is that kind of like I don't know if it's O'Connell's exactly, but like the tan or cotton poly blend beige bucket hat with the red
the
and
rep
blue
stripe, the rep stripe ribbon. I think is pretty fun to wear.
I bet if I spent an afternoon looking, I could find that thing.
I want one. Yeah. But yeah, I don't have. I used to have two cotton wax cotton ones, which wax cotton is good for like rain, and it's very against the elements. I bought them because someone recommended them to me, even though they are not the best for summer. But I gradually replaced them because they're also too small for my head, even though I got a large.
Well, you lost one of them, right?
So yeah, straight up just lost one.
Straight up lost it.
Yeah, then I just straight up lost her. Let's start making another one. Then I got one from later that same year, I think. Yeah, 2018. Yeah, I was at the PTO shop. Shout out sponsor. And I got like a very faded like bucket hat from like the 70s or 80s or something like that, and it's been great. I put a pin on it and I lost that pin too. I don't know what the fuck happened.
What was the pin?
The Cardinal Redbird thing, my favorite improv group. Hey,
that's right.
If UCB or Cardinal Redbird had a cap, I would definitely do that. But they don't. They just have pins and stickers. At least at the time I don't know when I last checked it, but whatever. But yeah, but I like bucket hats. I love wearing them with suits because it dresses it down even further. Because bucket hats, you can always have like, fun pattern ones. We saw some at Inspiration LA that has made a vintage like old canvas.
Oh
fabric.
yeah,
That's
those
really
are great.
cool.
Those are really cool.
But obviously the bucket hats have less connotation, like less overt branding than like a dad cap, because a dad cap will be like you have like the logo of the thing that you are supporting on it. Bucket hats are typically plain, so I gravitate toward those and kind of just lean into the whole like floppy brim stuff vibe. And you wear that. I wear that with sport coats, wear it with casual. I wear it a lot over summer, obviously, because it's most practical there. And yeah, it's one of my favorites. I think that people should try it out more often. It's one of those things, again, you graduate from, like, you do beanie, graduate to a beret. You do dad cap, graduate to a bucket hat.
Yeah.
So yeah, very practical. Especially
because that is the fully brimmed hat that you can just take off and stuff in your pocket.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you get a good one, you can just roll it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think one that Spencer has been, or we talk about every so often, is the beer ones, the Budweiser ones.
Yeah, well, because it's like you see these a lot. Like I think Mr. Freedom might have done this, but they're like in the 70s, or you've seen like the vintage 70s bucket hats that have like Marlboro or like Budweiser.
Yeah.
Shit like that on it. And like you see them at like fucking Urban Outfitters too. But to get a true vintage one would be pretty cool. Even just like some of the like more like, groovy 70s patterned ones that aren't related to any brand, which again we saw at Inspiration, are really cool, but those are fucking crazy expensive.
Yeah. I mean, again, if you really want it, you guys should get it. But, if you just want something that you can just throw on, try and thrift, try and look around eBay or whatever. But yeah, I typically buy a large, because my head, like, we Spencer and I have the same size head, and it's pretty big.
Yeah.
But yeah. And as we close off here, we would be remiss if we did not talk very quickly about the Fedora, which is again, a full brimmed hat, but has structure to it.
Yeah.
And there is a big episode about this already, but I have since that episode, like a year ago or two, I have bought a new Fedora, which is the black Wellama one. But there is an unboxing on the stream, or an unboxing. I just talk about it on the stream. But it's great. I think a lot of our friends, especially in the Discord, are starting to get into it. I think H. Wilberg was looking at getting like a silver belly open road. I think
who's making what the Rake is selling.
That's right. Yeah. So breaking news, and not really breaking because you're getting this way after it was already announced, because that's just the way recording and press time work. But yeah, Cody Wellama has worked with the Rake to produce a couple of ready-to-wear hats. One of them is, like we expected, a silver belly open road style that Bryceland really likes.
Yeah, he did that with Bryceland's too. So the silver belly specifically has been like coming in strong, man. That's what everyone's getting into, because as we like Western wear is having a resurgence.
Seeing lots of guys with rings, seeing lots of guys with variations on Western shirts, and now the
silver belly. And yeah, I mean, it's like this. It is like way easier to wear than other fedoras. Like I'll give
I actually find trouble wearing it because I think that my style. I have a like silver belly color. It's more like tan. It is a Stratoliner, which is kind of similar, not exactly, but similar. It's got the same kind of.
It's more fedora shaped.
And it's also, but they both have like the kind of like very casual thin ribbon on it. Yeah. I'm never gonna give it up because I still love it, but like I still find it hard to wear. I think I gravitate toward my brown Wellama and now my black Wellama. I think I like that kind of vibe a little bit better. But I think, I'm very contrarian. I don't want to be what's popular, right? And again, the silver belly. I mean, all of our friends, like the Gooch brothers, Doug, they all have variations on that kind of hat, and they wear theirs with tailoring. But I'm like, And in case, like just like we said, like with the fedora, like it's best if you wear it in. Obviously, my not get received very well in public. You know, you got the Indiana Jones connotations all the time. But I love, I think that the fedora is probably the most like denim, where like if you wear it in really well, it makes it easier to wear each time. It makes it softer to wear each time.
Oh yeah.
I have brought my brown,
especially if you get like a really good, you know, like beaver felt or whatever, fur felt, fedora from a brand like Wellama or something like that.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, my brown fedora, I have worn that to a couple of what do you call it? A couple of Rose Bowl flea markets. Took me a while to get to that. And a couple of those times it has been pouring rain. And now it is so, it feels like a vintage fedora because it's so soft after like, you know, I mean, I haven't had it for 60 years, but compared to like the hats that I have owned that are like 60, 70 years old, they feel great, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the best way. I think that, you know, more guys should wear it. You know, I like wearing it with tailoring, obviously. With casual, it's a little bit hard. But yeah, you know, it's just, there's something about it. And there are pictures of me and Bryson's, you know, wearing it. It's kind of hard for me to find images that I like other than Bryson's. I think that Bryson's has like the best shape, obviously because they're made by Cody. But there are times when like, you know, pity guys wear it. It just looks too, just doesn't look right to me. And that's kind of the downside with the fedora, where like, because it's a very tailored, very menswear item, there's a lot of thought and a lot of craft that goes into it. That means that if you don't get it right, it could look pretty bad. But for the other ones, like bucket hat, dad cap, beret, beanie, you could just throw.
You could get those.
On.
You could get those from fucking anywhere. But fedoras, I wouldn't recommend. Don't like buy cheap unless you're like buying. You know, like if you can find it vintage. But if you're buying a hat new, I think that you don't go cheap on that.
Yeah, at least a very, you know, if you could get it made for you again by Cody or whoever, you know, is around you. I know Aldous used to have like a local hat maker in Toronto, which I never knew existed in Toronto, but sure. But you know, stuff like that. But yeah, those are basically all the hats. I mean,
those are all the hats there are.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, if you guys are needing the inspiration, again, we have plenty of inspiration images in this one. I've also written about each of these things individually, so if you guys want like a more in-depth experience, the Ethan experience, I guess you guys could look into those.
And of course, as we said before, we already did an episode about the fedora, and we interviewed Cody. That was an early episode. I don't know how it holds up.
Yeah.
Probably good, but
audio is a bit whatever. It's not up to the same standard because you guys know well, you guys don't know it, but Spencer and MJ know I'm very like, gotta make sure everything sounds so good, you know. Not gonna get that TF Zoom call. Fuck that. I'm just kidding. I mean, I love TF, but I don't like Zoom call audio. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And you guys got like, kind of a good idea of how to wear stuff. I mean, we're releasing this in November. I forgot what is coming out. I don't remember. You'll know. You'll see this and you'll be like, hey, that's the date. Whatever date you're looking at, that's what I'm talking about. And by that I mean you know, you'll be hopefully in a position, if not already, to be wearing these things with your outfits. And you know, that's just what it is. Yeah. I mean, we wear all of these. You guys can look through our Instagram. You know, you can look through everything. I mean, the Discord is always popping with hats. People are wearing stuff like this, bucket hats, you know, berets, beanies, and everything like that. And hopefully, you know, if you haven't gotten the nudge to do it, hopefully this will put you in that direction. Because I think, you know, headwear is like the next step for a lot of people. Because like, you know, you get through wearing the cut of sport coat you like, then you start wearing like short coats, you know. But where's the next step right there? Fucking this.
What goes on your head? Yeah, when it goes on the noggin.
Be headwear, even though fedora brimmed headwear doesn't work either.
Yeah, well, I didn't know we were talking about fedoras in this episode.
Yeah, I added it in because, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'll do it for us. I mean, thank you guys for listening to the episode. I want to shout out our sponsor, PutThisOnShop.com.
That's
Thank
right.
you for sponsoring this.
PutThisOnShop.com. If you want free shipping on most items, use offer code SADSHIP at checkout.
Love that code name.
Yeah.
Yep, check it out. Lots of cool stuff coming up every week or so on the site. We talked about plenty of those beforehand. They're really cool. Rings, scarves, etc., and so forth.
Yeah.
Check it out, putthisonshop.com. I also want to thank our Sadcast fanatics, Seth Peterson, Austin Malott, Eric Hall, Shane Curry, Philip Rigard, and Audrey Jessica for being our top tier patrons of our Patreon.
There you go.
We have a Patreon for this if you are interested in supporting the podcast. We really appreciate it. We've been able to, again, as we are almost done with the whole year, we've been able to kind of do a lot of things that previous to this we never thought we would do, and we want to thank you guys for that. And as a token of our appreciation, when you become a patron, you get access to the exclusive Style and Direction Discord channel. That is where...
Bing! That's the sound effect.
There it is.
Yeah, but the Discord channel is really fun. As we've said before, it's popping. When we first started it, it's like, oh man, we're going to have to provide all the content. But guess what? We do contribute, but we don't have to.
Yeah,
so talk to us, talk to everybody else.
Yeah, I'm not to drop any names, but we got H. Wilberg himself, we got Kiyoshi Martinez, we've got Young Chomsky.
It's a lot of fun. People are just like sometimes hang out in the voice channels.
That's right. Really good time. If you guys have been looking for that menswear community, it's not Style Forum, it's not the TF Discord, it's Style and Direction, baby. And if you want to see what the Discord is like IRL, you can always tune in to the Twitch streams every once in a while.
Twice a week.
Twice a week. That is where we host from, so people are free to kind of come in and out. We prefer if you tell us ahead of time if you're going to come join us. It's a really great time. We get, Saturdays, we talk about Sad Head Saturdays. If you guys didn't know, you can submit your fits to that. It's a great community. I'm really proud of everything in there. I mean, I also, people sell stuff. I bought something from Chuck
that he got today.
It came in the mail today, and you'll probably see it before this episode comes out. But it is a cool popover denim thing from Double RL. Really great. Gonna wear it tonight. Check out the YouTube channel if you guys want to see.
Recently passed 100 subscribers, so that means you can find the YouTube channel at
youtube.com/c/style and direction, all spelled out, because as we discussed, ampersands do not work on that kind of thing. It's fortunate for our branding. So if you guys want to see, extra, not extra, but archived content from our Twitch, in case you're not able to watch it live, because I know a lot of people aren't around to be able to watch it live. You guys can go there. You can find me on Instagram technically you can follow both of us at Style Direction, all spelled out on Instagram, but you can follow me at Ethan M. Wong.
I'm Spencer DSO.
And big thank you to MJ and Matt for producing the episode. They're not going to get on mic, but you can see them on mic in the bonus episode, which came out last week. You guys can hear that. So, again, lots of good content for patrons, so join the Patreon. I'm tipping my hat to you as we say.
Wait, what hat are you wearing? Which one of these bee hats?
It's a bee hat.
Okay, it's a hat that says bee. I'm tipping my beret at you.
I'm tipping. My hat. It looks like a bee.
It's a bee.
it's beads.
You know what else starts with B?
What?
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Beret came out, by the way, guys. So check that out. Yes.